team. It's me, Jay Song here, and I wanted to go over some dinar news. First, I want to tell everybody thank you for watching these videos. So the website I'm on right now is dinarguru.com. So if you go to this website, dinarguru.com, you're going to be able to see this website pull up. And on this website, they keep like a running total of like 3 days or so of the last news regarding dinar. So this is a website I do follow throughout the month. I did want to read a few things because I really think it's good that people have some dinar. This is never legal, financial, investment, trading advice of any kind. But I did want to share some of this, some of these articles with you because you get a lot of sources in one place. You can follow the individual gurus, so to speak, and then they'll direct you to lots of different sources. But there's a lot of quick news here in one place. But basically, what we found, what I've been observing over this past month, is there's a lot of people that were saying that parts of the government itself and parts of different world organizations were basically demanding that the reevaluation for dinar be reinstated back to its years old value before it was changed. And if you don't already know, the dinar used to be worth around 3 to 1, which means it cost 3 United States dollars just to buy one dinar. Dinar was the most valuable currency in the world at that time, but they were going to war against Kuwait, I believe, at the time. So what they did was the World Organization, I believe it was they all got together, and the United Nations, so to speak, and agreed to take away their currency buying power. And it's basically worth pennies. You can base the rate currently right now is on this website, and the rate for this one, you can always see it. It's about right here. Should be underneath this column right here. There it is. 1,475 to 1. So 1 United States dollar can buy 1,470. Sorry, 1,460. Uh, and that's ridiculous. That's pennies. That's less than a penny, because there's 100 pennies in every just $1, and you can get 1,000 of dinars. It's basically worthless. And some very interesting things have been happening. I want to talk about some of those things as we go through this video. So if you got a little bit of time, you're curious about what's going on with the dinar, let's go through some of these articles. But before I continue, I just wanted to give you guys the last of the backstory. And the backstory is that at one day is going to come along where that old rate is going to be reinstated. There's been a lot of things that needed to happen for that to take place, but a lot of those things were not completed. There is a window of time. I'm personally expecting sometime next year, now that November is done. There are some data that's saying that it's going to be before the end of the year, and why. But let's start at the November 30th. Okay, so here we go. Firefly boots on the ground Iraqi TV update. They go into talking about the 2022 budget. They say to be addressed and passed early in 2022. He's saying that the budget will be in the center on projects of all our reforms, and then the CBI in early 2022. We will review the exchange rate too, saying both walk in hand. Frank Mustafa, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, and the only guy who can touch the exchange rate, just told you that both the exchange rate and the budget are going to walk hand in hand. Yes, sir, your country is going to be one of the powerhouses of the world, like it used to be. Firefly boots on the ground, Iraqi TV update continued. It's stupid to think that they were going to do it in the first part of the year. They are going to implement it in the first part of next year, because how are they going to open the budget on January 1st without the new exchange rate being exposed? That's why they're very soon going to show you the new small category notes, which are one. I'm been seeing here that in Iraq there's new ATMs that have been loaded with some of these dollars. They are the new, paper money, which is a lot less than their current values. For example, you can go on eBay and buy a $25,000 note in dinar for 33 bucks. And that's the rate that people, the middlemen already got. If you bought it straight from a bank, if you could, but most banks will not deal with the dinar at this moment. You can go to exchange places, or you can go to Iraq itself. There are sources you can buy dinar from. But if you got it, you're getting a huge note. So, but it's only around 33 bucks. So if you have a bill to pay, you're paying like, just say you have to pay the internet, and the internet's $33. You're paying 25,000 dinar just to pay your internet. Okay, so, but there's some very interesting things, and you're gonna want to see what's today is this today. So there are these new notes that are behind the scenes. Some of the bankers have reported seeing some of these sources, have talked about many people having seen these small notes, and they're going on TV talking about that there are going to be new small notes, but they haven't told you what the rate really is going to be, or haven't released the official rate. Now, how does that make sense? So you can barely pay your bill with a $25,000 note, and now they're saying, "Oh, we're going to announce the new even smaller. We're going to announce the new $5 note." That doesn't make sense, because it's less than a penny, and now for $1 is 1,000 something dinar, right? And then they're going to say, now we're going to give you an even smaller amount than a penny. Come on, give me a break. This doesn't make sense, right? But it does if you know or understand that the RV is the reevaluation is absolutely happening. So these are things to pay attention to. Let's continue. November is gone, and still no reevaluation. Just as I told everyone to wait and watch for early January 2022, the Iraqi news channels are still talking about dinar and the reevaluation. So much news in the area of concern, I can hardly read it all. But like I said before, we must be real and ask ourselves if they are just talking about bringing back the pre-December program rate, or a full-blown reinstatement with the rate on the Forex, which it's currently not. We want to see around $4.81-ish. I've been hearing 3 something, and then 4.71. So that's pretty good interest rate, a pretty good rate. There is talks where people are they going to let the dinar just kind of float, or are they just going to switch it all overnight, saying, hey, this is the rate, this is set, everyone is going to be able to exchange at these rates. What's going to happen is you're going to have some dinar cash that you already have, paper money, which you can verify with like a black light, shine that on there. But you'll be able to take that once dinar rate is reestablished. And it could be at the beginning of the year. It could be before the end of this year. What this guy's saying, Frank22 is saying that it's stupid to think it's going to be next year, because it has to go along with the white papers, which is the budget. They are releasing the official budget and the moves and how it works. So how are they going to release the budget without releasing the rate first, if the people who are in charge of the budget are the ones talking about the exchange rate, and vice versa? You'll see more. Intel Guru Hali says, I don't give any dates, as it is a moving target and event-based. All sources say it is done, and we await the final release codes. When it happens, it could be this week or longer. We don't have all the details as to what is happening behind the scenes, which is true. Now, from the prophetic community, I think Prophet Robin, he had mentioned that he believes it's going to happen sometime next year. So that is something to be aware of. Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be before the end of this year? One of the things Prophet Robin said was that there would be a link between the Afghani refugees and Iraq helping them. So Iraqi dinar, if Iraq reaches out to help Afghanistan, even though there's like a country between them, somehow there's going to be a movement where the currency rate is going to be allowed to increase. This almost sounds like it would be more like a float, where they take the restrictions off it and allow the dinar just to go up based on trading and things like that. That is very, very possible that could happen. So that's what Prophet Robin says. we would have to find out. Now here's the next one. It says Federal Reserve contact is saying any minute now. This is on December 1st. Today is December 2nd. Okay. And we are working around the clock in anticipation. Bankers are confirming seeing rates today dong from 47 to 68. So I want to talk about that for just a second. So there, people are seeing that there is the dong, which is the Vietnamese dong from Vietnam. This rate was also devalued, and this devalued happened during the time when they were going to war against. There was a war in Vietnam. I believe it was the Vietnam War. Now, there is some sources and some people that I followed, and they have talked and said things such as the basket of currencies as part of the quantum financial system and you know all of that. Now, I do expect some new financial system to come into play sometime in 2022, along with XRP, which is, you know, I'm absolutely expecting the move on XRP to happen, where it's not just, you know, going up to $120 or $150 based on its data. We can absolutely see that in the data. I talk about that on my channel and during dives. I teach classes nightly on, and people get copies of my YouTube videos during the night on my website, patreon.com/jsong_7. But more than that, we see that in the sources, how they said that there's going to be a switch of money, a major shift of money around the world. And I got this also from prophetic intel as well. Some sources that are very close to me that know that there is going to be that money itself is going to have a problem. And when that happens, we're very close to a liquidity crisis, such as Tether crashing or stock market crashing or something like that. XRP is not just a cryptocurrency. XRP is a utility. XRP is like a power company, so to speak. It has a function to support currencies. Entire countries have money that is paper that they're turning digital, but they need somebody to act as the bridge between countries and people. So they chose XRP. This is public information. It is not hidden. This is very public information. Everyone who's been following XRP for the utility aspect understands and knows this. It has not been activated on the global scale, but you have over 92, 93 countries have signed up for this and have publicly stated that they were beginning in November. So there are countries that are already using this. I think it was Japan have announced not so long ago, I think about a month or two ago, and that was all in the news. Many of the news talking about this tries not to use the word XRP, but they use Ripple Tech, which is Ripple is the custodian for XRP, as well as it's on the you know many government websites. So you know they talk about it in their papers. I have a lot of screenshots. Maybe I'll make some videos about that. But I did want everyone to know that the way that the saying that this reset is really going to happen is that the reset's going to happen with 4 baskets of currencies first. There's going to be, I believe it's, I don't remember the last one, but I remember the first one is dinar. Second one is the dong. I know the zim is in there, and I don't know which one is after the zim, but I believe it was one, I want to say it's like the Thai baht, but I'm not sure which was that 4th one. But from what I understand, or from what I've been hearing, that the reevaluation is going to take place like dinar, 7 days, dong. 7 days, there's going to be another one, and then 7 days, the other one. These currencies are going to be the first basket, and then there's going to be another group of poor countries. And from what I understand, some countries' money is going to come down, like the United States, and other countries are going to go up in value until there's going to be like a full balance. But during that time, there's the difference. There's a huge time where you can make a lot of money. And this is going to be very, very good for a lot of people because you can buy in one of the most valuable currencies in the world. Right now, it's the dollar. And what do you see everywhere? Now they're talking about hyperinflation, inflation to the moon. Everything's leading up to a huge liquidity crisis. And that can happen. And that money has to go somewhere. And if they have a reevaluation with the first 4 currencies, you can make a lot of money in dinar, and then within 7 days, you could obtain tons of dong. And about 7 days, that dong will also be reinstated. Now, this is the rumor. We don't know if this is going to happen. Everything you could treat it as just pure rumor. But there's a very good possibility that this is a viable. This is something that could happen. Now, if the dong and the dinar reinstate on the same day, hey, at least it was worth a shot. I do know there's lots of currencies in the world that have been devalued to the max because their governments are corrupt, and a lot of things that's happened over the years, and a lot of stealing. But if this ever comes back, which we have prophetic intel that the rights are going to be made right and wrongs are going to be made right, money's going to switch hands. I would love to see that money come back into good hands during those transition times. The money is the money to be made is just astronomical. For example, again, you spent $30. Just imagine you spent $30. You bought $25,000 worth of dinar, and it goes just say it goes back to the pre-standard, not even a one-to-one, but not one-to-one, but the pre-devaluation, which is $3. Although there are people who are saying it could go anywhere from $5 to even $20 because it will become valuable, especially if it's allowed to float and release. But just say it goes back to 3-to-1. That's $75,000. Again, $30 buys you $25,000 dinar times 3. That's $75,000 that you made just on $30. I don't know an investment of the world where you can spend just $30 and make 75 grand. But you can see why I make videos to say, hey guys, just remember, dinar revaluation is a very big possibility. And if it just went from 3-to-1, then hey, you made 25 grand on $30, which is still, astronomical. Could you imagine if you had a few $1,000s to buy some dinar? I buy some dinar on eBay from some known sellers. We're going to talk about that tonight in dive. I do have a dive class at about 9 p.m. tonight in Brazil, which is going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is New York time. So 7 p.m. I've been having classes almost nightly, teaching sword method, going over cryptos. We go over tons of cryptos. I haven't been on YouTube so much, but I did want to share those things with you guys. Now let's continue going through this, and then we'll end the video, okay? So just remember that if you see dinar and it's the only one that went through, you may want to be looking at dong next, and possibly the zim after that one, okay? One person looked at what Iraqi owed Kuwait. This is very interesting. Listen to this. He looked at the amount of Iraqi currency just paid to Kuwait, $1.47 billion. Okay, now so Iraq has a lot of debts, and from what we understand, they paid these countries, but when they paid these countries, they paid them in dinar, supposedly at the certain rate, but it doesn't add up. Doing the conversion, it worked out to $2.45 US per dinar. This really does lend more credence to what we have been hearing, that the Iraq has moved forward and unpegging from the dollar. We also know that Iraq has been buying and selling the oil, but in dinar apart from dollars. This has been coming out more and more. I don't think this rate affects us because we are under a covered contract, but this is huge movement. This is right out there for the whole world to see. Maybe this is out of their worst. Maybe this is their way of saying, "Hey, we announced things. Now they are going to let it float it to where they want it," meaning the rate. I think it is exactly what we saw. Value changes in Iraq that we can actually track is big. We have seen Iraq in the last 24 hours paying off old debts in dinars. So many of them are doing the math. All are finding tremendous differences in value. It's way up. To me, this is absolutely huge. This is a dead giveaway that the rate has maybe possibly been changed behind the scenes or at higher tier levels than that our currency exchange rate, but hasn't been released to the public. A country could say, okay, we know that the true rate is around $3. We will settle your debt for just paying us off in this dinars. But they're already doing the math saying you can't pay off the debt if in that current amount. It wouldn't mean. it wouldn't mean a hill of beans. It's just pennies. But they're accepting that as payment as if it was $2.45. So, guys, that's really phenomenal. And then I would expect the $2.45 to be the discounted rate, because it's like the Bible story when the man said to his servant who was going to get fired, he was about to get fired, and he wanted to make a good relationship with the creditors of his master. So what he said was, he called up all the debtors and he said, hey, how much does my master? How much do you owe my master? And he said, well, I owe your master, $50,000. He said, okay, sit down, let's make it 25,000, and we'll just write it off. Give me a quick deal just for paying it off right now. And so they were like, great. And he did this over and over. And of course, the Bible story says that the master looked at his servant and said, hey, you actually did pretty good. I'm commending you for your actions. When you do these kind of big debt pays off, you usually negotiate a better rate. I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a discounted rate, $22.45. So that's something. Next, my sources specifically talk about that they are being taught about a new exchange rate. They are being taught that they are going to reform and do these things for the citizens and bring in purchasing power. There's articles that even brought it up this weekend directly saying that what we're doing will create purchasing power for the citizens. From what I've been reading from lots of the sources, they have been saying that on TV, there's lots of like those, scrolling bars and yellow and different things in Iraq telling the people and getting them ready, saying, hey, we're going to give you guys back purchasing power, and here's why. Here, we're going to give you back that. Well, how do you get purchasing power back? You get your rate reevaluated. Okay. Next, Adam Montana says, it is not often I agree with Caparoni, but this time he has a point. Funny thing is, there's no overnight RV that has been building for some time. Those of us here a while now already know that this hasn't been an overnight process, but one night soon, just watch. What he's referencing is that this hasn't been an overnight process. It's been like 10 years in the making, 30 years in the making, something like that. I think in the last 10 years, that's been the big push to try to get reevaluated. There was stuff that needed to happen, and most of those things have happened, if not all of them. Frank26 says, the government of Iraq is talking about the exchange rate. The central bank of Iraq is talking about the budget. Shouldn't it be the other way around? It's not because they are raising the value of their currency. The government of Iraq is interested in the exchange rate for the budget. And the Central Bank of Iraq, the CBI, is interested in the budget because they need to give them the exchange rate. So both are interested in each other. The government is interested in the exchange rate, and the Central Bank of Iraq is interested in the budget, like a symbiotic union. They need to flow together. There's a lot of reasons why this could happen soon. Pimpy, he talks about the election, saying that Sadir is still the big dog in charge of anything. The election results were announced. This is the Electoral Commission has announced its results. Not very much has changed. Sadir is similar to Trump. He is a nationalist. What this means is somebody who believes in and supports his own country before other countries. He wants the United States out of his country because he believes they are occupiers. This also puts him at ends with Iran. He doesn't want Iran's 2 cents in his country either. Sadir is a hard guy to read. He could be a good guy or a bad guy. I'm curious to see what kind of government he is going to establish. Let's hope Kazim is part of it and they can get back on track and continue what they started. Kazim has always, he's one of the government representatives of Iraq who's been talking a lot about the exchange rate. His election result has not been announced from what I understand. Someone is asking about the dong, if I could give them some background on it and why it is included in this. Vietnam is one of Iraq's top trading partners. They are both included in the first basket, the basket I was telling you about, and it's supposed to go at the same time. Vietnam's dong value was reduced during the Vietnam War. It was never reinstated. So if all they did was reinstate their old value and to correct it for inflation, we would be looking at a rate in the low to mid $2 range. So that's fantastic. So this is something that I personally don't have any dong just yet. I don't have, you know what I mean. So you guys need to look into possibly getting some if you were curious about that. And but me, I'm just focusing mostly on dinar. Once dinar goes up, you best believe I'm gonna be gone on eBay just about the next day. I won't sell all of my dinar in one move, but I'll probably get release a good chunk of it and use that to purchase more dong. Once I resell my dong, I'm going to be obtaining XRP. This is going to be a huge, just kind of, I'm letting you guys know what I'm doing. This is never financial investment trading advice of any kind. I eat red crayons for breakfast and I get tummy aches. You guys eat red crayons for breakfast, you're also going to get a tummy ache. So do all of that at your own risk. From Iraqi news, Kuwait confirms receiving 1.47 billion in war compensation from Iraq. After 40 days of polling, the announcements of the final results of Iraqi's preliminary elections, the Sardis bloc topped the final election results by obtaining 73 seats. My understanding is that Iraq had to finish paying Kuwait first before they could revalue to be Article 8 compliant, which is again one of the other rules that they have to pass just to complete the steps needed to reevaluation. And now that the Sardis has been announced as the winner, Kazim should be announced soon. There is more talk about Kazim. Mint Goat says, can the dollar exchange rate return to the previous one in the near future? Again, economist Antoine is still talking about floating the dinar on the program rate and not reinstating it. Yes, they do realize you cannot float the dinar on the program rate just inside of Iraq. It must be liberalized and float on global markets, thus Forex. So that's what you see like Euro USD, you know, GBP USD. It would be USD IQD, Iraqi dinar, and other currency exchange rates. This is the CBI's, Central Bank of Iraq's, plan to do this. So these articles, like this one, are just more rhetoric from economists who do not know the overall long-term plan for the dinar. The long-term, however, is now here. Okay? So they're saying that these things are upon you. Mark Z says, do you have any info? They asked him, do you have any info on how the RV is going to be in Europe? We expect it to roll out just like here in the States, United States. The only difference is I am told the bank branches will be used as redemption locations. There are many banks in the world, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, that have currency agreements. So you can walk into a bank and say, hey, can you exchange such and such currency? And then they will look up what the rate is, and then they'll take a percentage of that, and then they'll send you guys the rest. And that's how exchange rates, it's like the airport when you exchange money at the airport, but the airport can rob you blind. So you don't really want to do this at that. But as long as they have currency agreements, they'll do that. But currently, you won't see that happen. You can't just walk into a Chase or Wells Fargo and say, hey, I want to exchange a dinar, because dinar is not listed on their, their programs. So you have to wait till after it's exchanged, and then all of that should be fine. In fact, what we're hearing from Wells Fargo, and I have family members in the banking industry. I've been in the banking industry for many, many years. I have people who are higher up, and what they have said is they have confirmed that Wells Fargo has moved their operations to more of a they've moved to a more business, high-end wealth clientele. They're moving away from just trying to get their money with people and accounts, and they're focusing on wealth management. They've been training a lot of wealth management people, from what I understand, on these websites and websites similar. They have lots of banking contacts that have been on standby almost every weekend for the last month, because it's like we think it's going to happen really soon, which is really rare and almost strange to have banks on standby, having people working on the weekends just in case it happens, and also telling their employees, don't go away 50 miles, but stay within 50-mile radius because you're on call. So we hear a lot of that kind of stuff happening. And my banking sources told me that it's absolutely true that Wells Fargo has moved to a higher in clientele. That's their business model. Now, that doesn't really make sense, especially during these times of hyperinflation and things. However, if you combine it with the information that they know about the dinar, you're going to have many people that are going to be overnight millionaires. Hear what I'm saying? Imagine a world where you have many, many, many thousands and thousands of people who just became millionaires, and they're walking into your branch, your business, your bank to exchange money. They're going to sit them here, then they're going to start selling them, offering them 401ks and insurance products and all kinds of business products that they need, tax investment advice of various kinds. I have been working in the investment industry. I do have many of my licenses. I can't talk about those on YouTube, but I worked in retirement, so I kind of understand how this works. I'm also very close friends over the years with many business bankers and how it all works. So it's very common to see, you know, a bank wanting to sell you when you come in. But how are they going to do that in this environment? Why would you completely change your business model? Wells Fargo, the truth is Wells Fargo knows what's going down. They know what's happening, so they change their business model to try to make up for that. So I'm letting you guys know how it works. Now, finally, we're coming to the very end. The Minister of Finance reveals the position of the international community on changing the price of the dollar and promises about the 2022 budget. Everything I'm hearing and seeing in the news from Iraq is now telling me that there are a very good opportunity to reinstate the dinar in early 2022, with the possibility, with the possible the project, with possibly the project to delete the zeros in mid to late December 2021. Yes, it is looking real good. So again, you have a $25,000 note that you paid $30 for, and they in the currency they have to get rid of all those zeros to start the new rate. So people are going to get paid, but they're not going to get paid $25,000, right? That's not how it's going to work. They're going to get paid new dollar bills or new, money, new currency bills, I should say, and they need to have new notes that not just say 25,000, but say $25, because it's going to be how it is going in the future. So this is a project that needs to happen. There are some rumors that it has happened behind the scenes, just like there's a lot of other things that we can't talk about right now. Well, I won't get into that. Firefly boots on the ground, Iraqi TV update today, December 2nd. They just told all foreign troops, including the United States of America, troops will be gone from Iraq. They told us the reason why everyone's leaving is because we will have full sovereignty. Wow. Stop and think about it. The only way you could raise the value of your currency is if you had security and stability. We talked about it. Dr. Shibaba talked about it. Okay, so there's the news for today. Let me see if there's anything else. Let me hit the refresh button since we began. And here we are. There's just a few other things. Okay. We are just waiting for the courts to ratify the election so Sadir can continue working on developing this government. So far, so good. It's looking like all things are falling into place. We really want to see Al-Qasim in there. I'd love to see him continue the great work that he's doing, me too, and do what it takes to make sure that Iraq is back on track and their people are prospering. Next, the contract rate is what we call the rate that we will get from the banks. There is a program called Oil for Dinar. So Iraq can pay over time the countries that aggregate the dinar and then turn it into Iraq in the exchange for cheaper oil per barrel. These nations will receive oil at a steep discount in exchange for our dinar. So in a nutshell, they can offer us more for our currency and then the regular street rate. Because, for example, the US or UK treaties will then use our dinar after it's exchanged and give it back to Iraq for a greatly discounted, cheap oil. And this allows Iraq to pay for its reevaluation over time. So that's interesting. And then finally, we do have a lot of changes that have happened in our tax situation and is still under flux. We are moving from a conservative to a liberal administration with changes in the attitudes, goals, and especially taxes. Under the previous administration, we had the attitudes and goals that favored our Iraqi dinar investment. The current administration's attitudes and goals favor limited retirement, capped charitable sharing, and increased taxes for those making over $400,000 per year. I want you to remember that the political pendulum swings both ways. Currently, it's swinging to the left. Stay tuned from Bob the Taxman, which is also something to note. I did want to say that there are some people that have said on this side that's no longer here that the the tax rate is covered under the program. So when you exchange the currency, some are saying that you won't have to pay taxes because it's going to be under the program, under the treaties program and how money is exchanged. Some people are saying that is absolutely not the case. You're going to be taxed, and some people are saying just be ready either way. They were saying about for $1 million, you could end up paying around 365,000 approximately dollars in taxes. That is insane. $1 million. Say you make $1 million and 365,000 of it is in taxes. So be ready. You may need to put some money aside um, for taxes when those times come, because it's absolutely possible that you can end up paying some taxes that are way more than you want to pay. Just be ready, no matter what the case is. As always, guys, I will be making some more videos. I told everyone on Patreon that I was going to be making some more videos in December about currencies and giving you guys some more of the things I'm going to be talking about USDT.D later on. But if you've been on the website, thank you guys very much for everyone who's been supporting me on Patreon and coming to my dive classes where I'm teaching technical analysis. I hope you guys all have a great day. Stay blessed. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord look upon you with favor. May the Lord give you, may he lift up his countenance towards you. May he be abounding to you in grace. And may he give you, may he look upon you with favor. And may he give you peace. And I also pray that your family be prospered and that you would be blessed so much, and that you will be made to be a resource for the good works that need to be done upon the earth, that the Lord would have you and make you rich for a purpose, and make you a great resource for his kingdom, especially in the future, in the coming years. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. And that's my prayer for you guys. Stay blessed. I'll see you guys later. Cue the outro music.